What's good, everybody, and welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. Right there. There we go. It's your man, Governor Wildstar. That's me. That's who I am. And I appreciate you all for tuning in to this very special episode where I'll be introducing my guests who I'll be speaking with very shortly. And hopefully you guys will be jumping in on the conversation. If you are watching out there and would like to ask a question or make a comment, which we may or may not talk about, be sure to drop it during the program. Just, make a comment and I'll post it to the broadcast here live. Let me know how you're doing out there. Let me know how you enjoying the program. Or if you're not at all, any of the above, just talk to me. But anyways, of course, first thing I want to do is let you guys know to please continue to spread the word. I definitely appreciate all that you're doing to help me increase my audience. On Facebook, where I'm reaching about 4,000, I believe. I want to hit 5,000, make that my goal. Same thing on Instagram. I'm at about 3,600, something like that. Trying to hit 5,000 on Instagram. You guys are helping me reach those numbers. And on YouTube is kicking it. I'm almost at 27,000 subscribers. That's right. And I do want to hit that goal of 30,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So please, please, please share these videos. Share this video, of course, but any other that I have on my YouTube channel or on my social media pages, of course, please share, which you can find on my website, governorwildstar.com. That's governorwildstar.com, governorwildstar.com. Visit the website. Got my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that right there for you. So connect with me and let's keep this liberty movement going. All right. So with no further ado, I want to introduce to you my guest because I've been trying to get him on the Black Side of Liberty for a long damn time. So with no further ado, I want to introduce to you my man, Dr. Daren Miller right here. What's up, Brother Miller? And welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? He's frozen right now. It says your mic is muted. And then you're moving in slow motion. So hold on. Let's see if he comes back. You there? Can you hear me now? Hold on, go ahead. Hit unmute. Can you hear me?
Okay. For some reason, it keeps going to mute. But like I said, your sound is a little bit distorted, but I'll follow up as best I can.
All right, cool. Yeah, we can hear you. It's just a little bit staticky, but yeah, I can hear you now, definitely. You with me? You following me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So I apologize.
Like I said, it's a little delayed.
I
can hear you, yes.
It seems to be a little bit small of a delay, but hopefully we can, that'll pick up and improve as we go along. But I apologize to all of you watching out there for the technical difficulties. You know how this live streaming shit works. You know, can't really trust technology, but here we are. So thank you for working with us. But Dr. Miller, thank you for being on the Black Side of Liberty.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want me to try to log back into my phone?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to jump out and jump back in, we can do that really quickly.
Do you want me?
All right. So he's going to refresh.
Okay. So let me go to my phone.
He's going to refresh his connection really quickly, you guys, and then we're going to jump him back in as soon as possible. But since we have a moment, I will make a very special announcement because I know I've been talking to you guys about me running potentially running for governor of California, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I want to share with you this right here, which is my new campaign to start collecting donations to replace Gavin Newsom, the former governor of or current governor of California. So please definitely check it out if you can. I'll put the CrowdPack information up there now. It's crowdpack.com/C like Charlie /Wildstar, the number 4 GOV. And if you could head over to this page right now or sometime in the near future, but definitely spread the word about it, because I am collecting donations again for my exploratory committee for Governor of California. If you want to find out more about me and what I could do for the state of California, just Google me. It's that simple. But in the meantime, I definitely want to let people know about Governor Gavin Newsom's atrocities and about what they can do to help me get elected. And I need your help. So please, again, head over to this CrowdPack page. Here it is right here. I got this cool ass picture about Gavin Newsom raising taxes. Those are one of the few things or many things that he continues to speak of. And different donation levels. Got the shooting star right here for $25, a superstar of $100, a wild star at $500, and a supernova at $1,000. You shoot me that $1,000, woo! You know what I'm saying? That's really going to make major things happen with the campaign, because the filing signature or the filing fees is going to cost about $4,000 possibly, or maybe even a little bit more, but it's going to be a pretty penny. So if you can make that supernova donation and pledge right now, I would truly appreciate it, because my goal is $10,000. So the more that you can contribute, the merrier. And if you aren't able to contribute at all, you can always just leave an endorsement right here. Just click on the word endorse, and you can leave a comment and support me and let other people out there know why they should support me as well. But this campaign is live. I am, again, collecting pledges. These are only pledges. So you're basically just saying, you know, you're willing to put up some money for my gubernatorial campaign, finance that, because we need to make that happen. So please head over to the CrowdPack, crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar for Gov, and let's bring back liberty to the state of California. And we need to definitely do that right now, because if you haven't heard the news, Gavin Newsom has shut down the state of California yet once again over the coronavirus, which has a death rate of less than 0.1%. It gets even lower in certain areas, but overall in the state of California, it's less than 0.1%. And now the governor has shut down businesses again, shut down churches, shut down parks, shut down birthday parties, shut down anything and everything that has to do with we the people connecting or interacting with one another. But of course, you can spend your money at Walmart. You can go there all day, and that's going to be open because that's still considered to be an essential business. So you can go and shop at Walmart and be around other people, hundreds of people even, and get your shopping on there. But other places in the state, he won't allow you to go. It's unfortunate that it's happening right now. So we definitely want to make sure that we're doing some things to get him out of office right now. But I think my guest is back connected, so I'm going to jump him in. Dr. Miller, hold on there. You still with me there?
I'm back. Hopefully this will work. I'm holding my camera phone, so hopefully this will work a little bit better.
Cool. Yes, you are streaming much quicker now, I can tell. But I appreciate you for jumping back in on the Black Side of Liberty. Brother Miller, I know a little bit about you, you know, about who you are as a person as well as your background, but my audience may not know who the hell you are. Maybe some of the people here in Fresno are watching, but if you could tell the people out there in the world, who is Daren Miller, please?
Well, I'm Fresno born and raised. Been here all but 2 years of my life. So I was born, raised, and taught here in the Fresno metropolitan area. Professionally, I've spent the last 30 years in K-12 education, working at just about every school district around in the area. Started out as a homeschool liaison and was able to elevate to middle school principal. I'm currently in a transition. After 30 years in K-12 education, I'm leaving K-12 education to become a professor over at Fresno City College. So that's what I do professionally. I'm also involved in politics. Currently I sit on the Fresno County Board of Education as a trustee there, serving Area 3. I'm actually a candidate right now because I have to run to retain that position in November. I'm a father of 2 boys. I have a 35-year-old son and a 27-year-old son. I'm sorry, 36-year-old son and a 27-year-old son. I'm a grandfather of 3, soon to be 4, first part of next year. I'm not sure what else other people would be interested in knowing. There's
Wow.
lots of other things I do.
Yeah, it sounds like your resume goes on and on, but for the most part, that's very, commendable things. And you definitely don't look like you have 2 children that, 2 grown men out there in the world.
I've
So,
been grown a long time, man.
all right. Well, thank you for being around and contributing as much as you have. And you stated about how you have also been involved in community work, as far as you running for office as well. That's actually where our paths crossed around 2018 when you were running as a candidate for Fresno City Council. Had to stop here in Fresno, and that's actually where we met. If you guys want to check that out, it's a video on YouTube. But anyways, in the meantime, like you said, right now you are currently holding a position as a Board of Education trustee, and you are running to retain that seat in this 2020 election come November. So a lot of people don't even know what the hell a Board of Education trustee is. So if you could tell us a little bit about that position and what does it entail, and why should people vote for you to maintain that position?
Well, the board that I sit on is a county board, so it's different than the unified school district board. So for every school district, all 30, I think there's 36 school districts in Fresno County. All of those 36 school districts have their own board of trustees that goes over their budgeting and their hiring practices and all of those type of things. The board that I sit on is over the whole entire county. And basically, our main focus is we are like not a resolution judge, but we are when a parent believes that they've been wronged by a school district, then they would send that appeal to us. And so basically, our main functions are appeals on transfers. So if a parent wants to move from District A to District B without moving, they put in a request to do that. The request is denied, and they think that it was done for some malicious reason, then that appeal comes to us. And then the other one has to do with discipline and with expulsions. If a kid is expelled from school, District A, and the parents don't believe that it was done appropriately, then they would appeal that to us. We have some responsibilities on budgeting, because we do have I think the county office actually runs 6 schools, I believe it is. There's 2 charter schools, one charter school that's under us, and then the other schools are mainly special ed. So it's kids who are severely disabled. Their facilities, if they're a cancer patient and they can't leave the hospital because of their treatments and those things, their educational needs then are being picked up by Fresno County. And so we have a small budget that we oversee there. But 90%, 85% of what we do is oversight. And it's not actually participating in processes like they do at the unified school districts.
I see. So another oversight committee. It sounds, I hate to say it, but it sounds like that position is just another government boondoggle where it's a pointless organization where you already have these existing bodies that are supposed to do that. So it's like more wasteful spending on taxpayers' part to double down on duties and responsibilities that other appointees are already supposed to be dealing with.
I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree with the characterization of how you put that. Ultimately, all education in California falls under the auspices of the California Department of Education, CDE. And in their role, they come up with the curriculums. We got the whole thing going on with COVID right now, and opening of schools and closing. They have some responsibility that goes along with that. But if you did not have the county boards of education, then the CDE, California Department of Education, would have the oversight over all, I don't even know how many millions of kids are being educated in California. I know in Fresno County, we have 220,000 or so kids that are, I think that's the number, 230,000 kids or so is what's in schools here in this particular area. But the role that we take on is the oversight that goes on between the state and the local school districts. So a local school district will expel a kid. They've made a final decision that kid, whatever they did, their punishment is to be expelled or removed from that school district. If it was done, if they didn't follow the procedures or protocols to be able to do that, then what would happen is they would make the appeal to the state of California. Well, the county boards of education fill in that role. So the 52 counties that are in California fill in that role as the appeal body.
I see.
So I wouldn't necessarily agree with the characterization of you that it's just another body that's created that's wasteful spending by the state. I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, the reason, I'm a libertarian. So libertarians are all about smaller government, running things more efficiently, especially when it comes to spending of taxpayers' dollars. And when it comes to, again, government body, it being too big, it assuming roles and responsibilities in people's lives, and where it shouldn't, that's where I feel like we need to start reining in the powers of government. So, of course, they want to validate their position to say, well, we need to be in control. But if it's done on the local level, it should be the parents more involved with those type of decisions and having to deal with those superintendents or school officials directly, instead of having to go through other governing bodies. But I do want to move along because that actually rolls me into my next question, because when we first met, we talked about the differences between you and I as political candidates. You stand as a Democrat, I stand as a libertarian. You asked me what the hell is a libertarian, and I told you pretty much we're defenders of property rights, whether it be, your personal property, physical property, your body, your intellectual property, defenders of those property rights, and feel like government should stay within the confines of protecting those rights if need be, if we ask them for their assistance. Other than that, leave me alone. Live and let live, golden rule of life. So when it comes to Democrats and their policies, what they want to do, there's lots of things that libertarians and Democrats agree with, such as freedom of choice, freedom of the individual rights. I should be able to smoke my weed. I should be able to, get an abortion if I want, et cetera, et cetera. So Democrats are defensive of promote those certain rights and liberties. But libertarians stand across the board for that, especially when it comes to criminal justice reform. One of the things that's been, I guess, spoken about much in the news right now and in the community. So when it comes to criminal justice reform, don't really see much happening on the Democratic side. So why are you a Democrat, especially knowing the racial history of the Democratic Party, where it stemmed from? Again, their policies now that haven't really benefited we the people. I mean, why are you a Democrat?
So you put a lot out there, and like any large meal, you have to break it down into pieces. You just don't start shoveling food in your mouth. So let's talk about the history of a Democrat. What is the history of the Democrats? I mean, since you brought that up, because I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Are you asking me or are you telling me? I'm asking you.
I'm asking you to make sure that we're on the same page, because when you say the history of the Democrats, I do understand that the Democrats were the ones who enslaved Africans originally. that the Democratic Party was involved in that, but there was an evolution that happened, and that ideology that persisted at that particular time during enslavement now is the ideology of the conservative side, of the Republican side, or of the what's my favorite word? The business side of life, those who want to deal in profits and those type of things. There was a transformation that happened. And so the Democrats that you're talking about from the 1800s and even the early 1900s, that's not the ideology of the current Democrats now. Switch.
Come on, man. The
Okay?
Democrats,
so
still are the party of oppression. I'll make one case in point with you right here. Okay. The presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, okay, co-authored the 1994 crime bill, which basically put millions of black men in jail. When it comes to student loan debt, he was the sole individual that that purported for student loan debt to be taken on by the government. Therefore, you couldn't file default on it, which made the student loan debt increase. Now you can't get rid of the debt, and it's trillions of dollars that we, the people, owe due to this student loan fraudulent business. They bailed out Sallie Mae, Freddie Mac. They then converted and became Navient and Great Lakes. It's the shell game that happens with those money masters that you're talking about, that money cartel, where they still are using the dollar to control us and enslave us in poverty more so than anything.
That's not the Democrats, though. That's the capitalists.
What makes you think that they're not the same?
I'm sorry?
What makes you think that they're not the same?
Well, there are Democrats that are capitalists that take advantage of that situation, but that's across the board. There's libertarians that's involved in that. The Koch brothers, who are libertarians, are involved in that. There are Republicans that are involved in that. Anybody who's in that 1% is a person who is taking advantage of that system, of that capitalistic system.
Well, first and foremost,
you can't ascribe that to any political.
We got capitalism and crony capitalism. Capitalism is cool. If you got a great idea, a great product or something like that, I got money that I want to put behind it so I can make some money off of it too, and you can make some money. I want to capitalize on that. That's capitalism. That's true capitalism.
But the rules of capitalism are not set up that way.
You're right. And guess who helped create the structure for that? It wasn't just the Republicans that did that.
The 1%ers. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. There were Republicans that were part of that who perpetuated that. There were Democrats who were part of that who perpetuated. There were libertarians who were part of that who perpetuated. There are Green Party people who were part of that who perpetuate that. So you can't ascribe that to any political party. That goes
you can't say that about the Greens and libertarians, because we haven't been in enough elected positions to where we can actually make those differences. However,
allow me to ask you, aren't the Koch brothers libertarians?
No, you have one Koch brother that died, and the other Koch brother is not part of the Libertarian Party anymore. When they did get involved back in the late 80s, they helped sponsor a few candidates' campaigns, and then when the Libertarian,
one of them actually ran as a one of the brothers actually ran as a Libertarian vice presidential candidate.
Right. And it was about free market capitalism, different from what the capitalistic society that we have today, which is basically government officials, red or blue, Republican or Democrat, because they're the ones in control, saying who can trade with who, whatever country, whatever individual, taxing us, we the people, for it. And then that's the problem.
I see. So here's another part of my frustration. You just ascribed an evolution that happened within inside of your Libertarian Party, but you will not ascribe those same types of transformations to the party which I belong to, the Democratic Party. Why are those situations not the same?
The principles are still the same. That's what I'm saying. The Koch brothers, when he ran as a libertarian, was still running under libertarian principles, which is free market capitalism. That's never changed as far as the Libertarian Party, which I definitely stand for. However, the Democratic Party has had candidates whether it be legislators or executives, mayors, governors, presidents, that have implemented policies that have hurt people, hurt them physically, hurt them financially, and especially the Black community. So when it comes
Okay,
to Black people aligning themselves with being a Democrat, the majority of them do so simply because of family connection. A family or friends straight out of high school said, you need to vote Democrat because you're Black. And that's why the majority of Democrats, Black Democrats, continue to support the party.
Would it surprise you that if I told you that my grandparents, the grandparents that participated in voting, were actually Republicans?
See? So why are you a Democrat?
No, I'm asking the question. Would that surprise you?
That would not surprise me. Martin Luther King was a Republican, and
he was not. That is a lie. That is an absolute lie. Martin Luther King was never a Republican. That's an absolute falsity.
All right.
There is some question about Martin Luther King's dad being a Republican at one point in time, but Martin Luther King Jr. was never a Republican.
All right. That's debatable, but we'll talk about that at another time. I do have other questions that I do want to ask you about, because since you are a Democrat and you have been involved out here in Fresno with the Democratic Party, one of the things that they have been supporting is the Black Lives Matter protests. So we've been seeing those pop up ever since the murder of George Floyd here in California. And you've been involved in some of those yourself, not only as a, I guess, proponent of the Black Lives Matter movement, but involvement of the Democratic Party to get people involved.
I have not engaged in any of those marches that I've gone to on behalf of the Democratic Party.
Okay. So with that to the side, anyway, so you've been out there as a supporter and a demonstrator for the Black Lives Matter protest. But one thing you have not been involved in is the Reopen California protests, which have also been going on throughout the state and have impacted the Black community severely. I mean, you have Black businesses that have suffered tremendously because they aren't able to receive that capital that some of the other larger businesses are receiving, especially with these PPP loans that are being given out. So when it comes to being involved in the community, I mean, I personally feel like if you're going to be a leader of the community, you can't just do it when it's convenient. You got to do it when it's uncomfortable also.
But you also must do it responsibly.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Absolutely. So responsibly. You have to be out front,
but you have to also do things responsibly.
Absolutely. So being involved in the Reopen protests is just as responsible as being involved in the Black Lives Matter protests, especially if you're adhering to social distancing measures and wearing a mask and all of this other stuff. So why would you support the lockdown and the Black Lives Matter protests when they seem to contradict each other? And there's no
contradiction between the two of those. Those two matters are two totally different beasts. But to go back to your original question about why I would not be in support of this reopening movement is because I just went on a 3,700-mile road trip and no problems, no issues. I was able to see the countryside, states I've never been to. While I was on that trip, I was informed that two of my family members here locally both contracted COVID. Both of them are on quarantine right now. One of them knows for a fact that she contracted it at work, and she's a state employee, contracted it because she is number 6 or 7, I don't remember what she said, single digits of people in her unit who has now contracted the virus. So now they shut down, they open back up, and now they're shutting back down. So when you talk about responsibilities, I understand the economics. There are people, there are businesses, and there's individuals who are being hurt by what's going on right now. But I also understand, being an educator, that the big debate right now is about opening schools. In Fresno County, with some very small exceptions, we should not be opening schools. And it's not about the kids, because kids need to be in that environment. The best way for them to learn in particular grades, in the elementary grades, is for them being in those social environments. But you have to worry about their teachers. You have to worry about the support staff, the janitors, the people in the offices. All of it, you got a workforce. I don't know if this is a state number or if it's a national number, but 50% of their teachers is over the age of 50. So
then that needs to change. When you talk about the educational system and the need to go through reform, that's one of the things that needs to change also, is the number of educators in the system. But when you talk about being responsible, the main responsibility lies on parents. I mean, I have a child myself.
That's not true. That's not
it
true.
Is. If the parents want to take a risk,
when you have parents, in particular in the Fresno area, who are dependent upon schools to help them with their child care needs, because they have to go to work, they can't miss days, they have to go to work sick, they have to go taking overtime and all that kind of stuff, because the economy right now, in particular in our area, is killing them. It's not all the responsibility of the parents to make sure of what goes on with their children. And that's one of the issues that I have with capitalism.
Of course it is. It starts first
ultimately
with and I want to say this with regards to the parents being able to have the choice. That's the problem with government, is they've taken the choice out of parents' hands to say, we know what's best for you. And that's what's happening right now with the governor in the state of California. Instead of letting adults, because that's what we are, the grown people that actually pay taxes, that pay his salary, your salary, want to do, is we want to choose for ourselves, instead of us being told this virus is this serious and this deadly that you need to do this. Let us choose for ourselves.
Do you believe in science?
Of course I do, but I also believe in
facts. What is the science? Would you agree that a virus is in the realm of science?
You didn't let me answer the question first. You asked me, do I believe in science? And that's irrelevancy to basically say that, do I believe in this virus and its effect? Yes, absolutely. The facts are there. But the facts also prove that this virus is not as deadly as the media, the mainstream media, wants us to believe, as government officials that want to restrict our freedoms and liberties because of it want us to believe. So that's why I say, wait a minute. So that's why I say to you, there's a contradiction in supporting the Black Lives Matter protest, where I've been there. I've been there right alongside you. Hundreds of people standing right next to each other, not all of them wearing masks. That's a-okay. That's been given them.
That is not a true depiction. That's not a true depiction of what happened. These marches that I went to,
shoulder to shoulder, just like the reopen protests, but you're saying this one is not okay. This one is, simply because of the cause more so.
I'm not saying that it's not okay. If people want to go to a march where they're talking about reopening, God bless them. That's just not where I am.
See, and this is where I got to call bullshit, because I invited you out to one of the reopen protests that I was actually organizing. You told me it was unsafe, it was irresponsible. Next thing you know,
I made a personal choice. I made a personal choice not to go. Just like you say in your libertarianism, you want to be able to make your own choices about what you do,
absolutely,
where you go. I made that choice that I was not comfortable going to that event.
So the reason why I'm asking this question, and its pertinency and its importance, it's not just every individual. You're running for office. You're running as a public representative. And I'm pretty sure that after Board of Education trustee, you will continue your aspirations to possibly even run for city council again. So it
I won't be running for city council again. I can promise you that.
Well, something else after this, I'm pretty sure, possibly. There's more things in your cars and in your future, I'm sure. But I do want to move our conversation along because there's a lot of people saying things here on the chat, as well as other questions that I do want to ask you as well. Because
Okay.
with regards to what I was asked, or what I was saying about these protests and reopening, and right now there being calls to recall Governor Gavin Newsom, get him out of office so we can actually get the state back on track. But you don't see the Black Lives Matter movement supporting that. You don't see Democrats supporting that, even though that would be the best way to reel in real criminal justice. But one thing that the Democrats do support and are out there promoting is the census. That's one thing that I've seen you out there supporting yourself and asking people to get involved in. But I just got to say, this is one of those moments where I'm like, prove me wrong. Black people have never benefited from the census, period. Its existence, as long as it's been around, has never been in any one of any community except for those that I guess are more well off. And we see that here in Fresno, where you got the west side of Fresno not receiving as much funds as the north side of Fresno. So the census hasn't ever really had an effect on helping the community. So what is the census, and why do you think that would actually help Black people if that's what you want to do? You want to help Black people, how the hell is that going to do it?
Okay, so let me correct you. First of all, the discrepancies that the city of Fresno has had with the distribution of funds to West Fresno and Southeast Fresno has nothing to do with the census. Okay, that has to do with local government, the local representatives who've been elected officials not doing their due diligence to make sure that the monies that we receive in a whole, the city of Fresno, county of Fresno, are going to where it's supposed to go. And I can give you examples of that. But the census is about accountability. So there is a X amount of dollars that's equated to every person. And this has been going on since, I don't even know when the census started, but I can tell you that the census was around during slavery, because that was one of the 3/5 compromise. It was a part of that whole thing. So it's been around since the 1800s. The census is about taking federal dollars that has been collected through whatever means it is, and how they then disperse those federal dollars out to areas. So Los Angeles and New York, which are two of the largest cities that we have in the United States, obviously should get more federal funding for their services than should Selma or Oakhurst or any of these other small rural towns that are around.
You're right, but we don't see that happening. You brought it up. The census has been around for that long, and it hasn't had that effect on the community. First things first, the only thing the census is spoken about in the Constitution as far as its purpose is to do account of those living in the area so they can actually figure out how many representatives that they need for that area. That's the only purpose for the census, period. You have political
that's not the only purpose. That is one of the purposes.
You have political parties politicize its use, its purpose to do exactly what you're talking about. Say how they're going to delegate funds and use funds here and there, or whatever the case may be, when really that's not the point of it at all. It's just more government oversight and them prodding and putting their nose where it doesn't belong.
So I get the impression after we speak is that you are anti-government. Would that be a statement?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
So, I am anti-government. I'm anti-control, and I'm pro-freedom. That's how all Americans should be. Why would we be pro-authority?
Define freedom. Please define freedom.
Freedom means I should be able to do as I please as long as I'm not harming anybody. It's called the golden rule of life. Treat others as you want to be treated. And that's the one thing that we can agree on as human beings, just existing, coexisting in an environment. As long as we do exactly
America has never been about the golden rule.
You are
in America, those who have the goal rule.
You are right about that.
Political? that has nothing to do with political parties. It has to do with people who have gold and people who do not have gold. That's unfortunate. The unfortunate part of the American history. I just heard. Are you familiar with Malcolm Gladwell?
When you talk about black people, yeah, America has not fulfilled this promise of liberty and freedom to black people, definitely. But we can see that across the board to people in general, regardless of skin color. That's why you do see prominent black people in positions of power being able to benefit from this system. So it does exist for some. How does it benefit the whole, we the people versus the 1%? How can we shift that back, that reins of power? And that's what I'm saying is if
capitalism and the misbelief of freedom, the misbelief that government does not have a role in our lives, all needs to be looked at. Government does have a role in our life. Just like you've got this program right now, which is propped up and supported through the government. You wouldn't be able to do your show right now if it wasn't for
this ain't done interaction. This is done by free enterprise. StreamYard is a private company. The internet, my internet service provider, is a private company. I'm paying for it. It's my money, my hardworking money, which is why government didn't do that. So to say that government provides freedom for us, especially as a black man, is extremely.
That is not what I said. Brother Wildstar, that is not what I said.
Well, then what
I said there is a role. There is a role for government in everything we do on a daily basis.
So how does government make us more free?
Are you at home right now? Or are you somewhere else? Have you been out today in your car?
Yeah. What's that got to do with anything?
Did you drive on a paved road or a dirt road?
I drove on a tax-paid road.
What is the tax-paid road?
We the people. We don't need government to do it for us. We don't.
It's government taking the people's money and giving you a road. If your house catches on fire right now,
oh my God. You are killing me, man. That is not true at all. Government does not pave the road, and government is not needed in order to pave the roads, which is why there are certain places throughout the country that exist where government isn't involved in paving the roads. And guess what? They're better. They're better. I was promoting during my campaign because people were talking about in Fullerton, one of the cities that I lived in, as well as here in Fresno, about how pretty the roads is. And about how all of their taxes is supposed to go towards infrastructure improvements, but they don't see it. You want to know why? Because those same government officials are wastefully spending that money, they're pocketing that money, if anything, and it's not going towards improving the roads. So one of the things that I said was, let's let private companies like Domino's Pizza, who actually has a program right now where they will pave roads and they will fix potholes for free. For free. No money out of taxpayers' pockets. And the only reason they want to do that is so they can slap down the Domino's logo. That would be a better way to get things done, and that's private enterprise. Has nothing to do with government at all.
So if it's that easy, why has it not been done?
You're damn skippy, because you got people like you thinking that the government needs to do it, and then you have people out there thinking that the government needs to do it. Then vote for people that think government needs to do it, instead of thinking like what I just said and thinking like what you just said. If it's that easy, why don't we get it done? Get somebody like me in office, and I'll get it done. That's how simple it is.
Okay, I hear you. I disagree.
If you want to put it in a nutshell,
but I hear you.
If you want to put it in a nutshell, right now we got a dumbass president who wants to be reelected. We have a dumbass candidate on the Democratic side who doesn't really want to be elected, but he will by default if the other guy doesn't get elected. But if we really want to solve all of our nation's problems, especially when it comes to talking about infrastructure improvement and reeling in our tax dollars and government accountability and improving our criminal justice system, we can do that We can vote different. Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate, a woman who's running for president, the media hasn't said anything about her at all. You want to know why? Because she's that easy, and if she gets it gets elected, it'll be done. And that's the thing. Government only exists to create a problem. They validate their bullshit positions by saying, look, this problem still exists. You need me to fix it. No, we don't. We've been doing that shit for how long? It hasn't worked.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you at all. There's a role for government in everybody's life, including yours. Now, I will agree with you that the role that government has played in our lives have not always been beneficial, but I disagree with you wholeheartedly that there's not a role for government in our lives. Privatization is not the way to do it. Entrepreneurship alone is not the way to do it. There's got to be a collective movement for the good of the whole. And right now, the one percenters are the issue. That's the issue. Those who have the goal is the issue, as I see it.
Not true. To me, a lot of people with money definitely have stepped up to the plate and solved more problems in our community than not.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
With this coronavirus lockdown, you've had companies like Disney and Google step up and give $10 million, tens of millions of dollars in aid to people of the community directly.
That's not fixing a problem.
Oh, but I'm just saying that's happening. Versus the government, which has done this. These payment protection programs, these loans, these PPP loans that the government has loaned out to multi-million-dollar companies to the tune of billions, that's the capital B, the billions to multi-million-dollar companies backed by taxpayers. They aren't working right now. So when we finally get back to working, we're going to be paying off these loans that are going to be forgiven to multi-million-dollar companies like Gavin Newsom's wine company.
So what would happen if we would have not, if our current president wouldn't have got his tax reform bill where he sent all those millions of dollars to the one percenters, those who have gold? If we were able to take that money and be able to invest it in exactly what you're talking about now, the crisis that we have going on right now, what would have happened had we not expended all those monies in Afghanistan and the Middle East and all these wars that we've won and invested that money into research, into education, into communal types of things, and not been placed into the pockets of the 1%. So I don't think we're necessarily way off base, but I do disagree with you that there is not a role in everybody's lives, a beneficial role in everybody's lives for the role of government. There is.
All right, we got to agree.
I know you don't subscribe to that. But
that's the thing. As long as government validates its position by saying we have a need for it, we're going to be dependent on it, which is exactly the problem. We're becoming a nanny state where we're depending on people that we pay. Other people. Government isn't like some god. It isn't some organization of perfect people that have all of the answers. But people's perception.
So let me ask you this question: If you really believe that government does not have a role in a person's life, why are you running to be a governmental official?
So I can reduce the damn size of government and show people how government should not be in your lives. For instance,
isn't that
marijuana? Marijuana should never be an argument. Abortion should never be on a political argument. All of these things, sex work should never be a political argument. There's so many things that we put on a political agenda, mainly because we the people, we feel like, hey, I want this specific issue dealt with. I want to desegregate our schools. So I'm going to support the candidate that when he gets elected will use his power of force. That's basically all government is, force. use their power of force to force other people to do what I want them to do. That's the only thing that government does.
But exactly what you're saying that you would do as a governmental person, as an elected official, is being involved in people's lives.
No, I just said I would reduce government's role in people's lives so they could see
right.
how, and then that's the case.
You're contradicting yourself. You said
How
that
is
government
that contradiction?
Because you said the government does not have a role in people's lives. You made that statement. But now
Yes.
you're saying you don't like the size of the role of government and you would diminish it to a part that's more acceptable. So you're admitting that the government does have a role in people's lives. You just don't like the degree or the magnitude of the role of government in people's lives now. You want to change that.
But it has a purpose, but its purpose is minimal. It's this small. It should not be as big as it is, as broad as it is, as vast as it is. So my job, what I would do as a government official, since that's what people are hiring me to do, what I would be proposing as a government official along the way during the campaign trail is exactly that. If you elect me, I will reduce government to show you how it will be less intrusive in your life and more beneficial to you. That's why they would be electing me. Versus
so what you need to do is you need to be able to come up with a argument, a stance, a position, a platform that's going to change the mindset of people such as myself, which believes that the government does have shouldn't say substantial, but it does have a significant role in people's lives. And you haven't done that with me.
Well, again, you're still dependent on, number one, you have a special interest in defending the position because, of course, you're a government official now. And I just said, really, a board of education trustee position is not important. So if I was elected governor, I would downsize government so much so to where that position probably wouldn't even exist anymore. Because I would give the power back to the community and parents.
The governor cannot get rid of county boards of education.
The governor can end the relationship between the Department of Education and the state, which is what I would do. That's what I would do.
Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense.
Because again, government has gotten so out of control. They're now trying to dictate what children can be taught by students in the classroom. Why is that any of government's business at all? Why should my children be taught?
That's actually that's the people's business, actually. Because the people wanted to change that.
Have no choice in it. The laws that have been passed have done so arbitrarily because the government officials, people elected,
who passed the laws? Who passed the laws? Huh?
The government officials do so.
Correct. What? Who put those officials in office?
People that want that change. That's what I'm saying.
So if the people want change, then what they need to do is they need to use the tools that's at their hand. If they don't like the way that a particular elected official is doing things, they need to get rid of them. If they don't like the way that a particular elected body is doing things, is using their tax dollars, or they feel they're more intrusive, then they need to change. Did you see what happened? Are you familiar with what happened with Ferguson since Michael Brown?
What? What about it?
They now have a black lady mayor, and they now have a black, what we would call a district attorney. They call them something else out there. They have a black male district attorney. Those people in Ferguson were able to realize their power, and they did not like the structure in which they were living in, and they used the tools at hand, whether they like them or dislike them. They used the available tools to change their outcome, to change their atmosphere. That's what politics is all about. And unfortunately, politics has been taken over by the one percenters, because you cannot really truly be on a national scale. You can't be an elected official if you don't have $1 million. If you're not a millionaire, you're not gonna get elected. We need to take money out of politics. We need to nullify the effects of money on our individual lives. It's not the fault of government. It's the fault of the money that has influenced those people that are in power.
So if government officials have the power, which they do, to get the money out of politics, but they don't, then wouldn't you say that would nullify their existence since they are putting?
That's our fault, though. We the people don't put pressure on our legislators to get money out of politics.
That's true.
Okay, so that would be
is
like,
true.
okay, but that's what I'm saying is that when we say that the government is over intrusive, I would agree with you in certain areas, but that's our fault. That's our fault as people because we put those politicians, we elected those politicians into those roles and have allowed them to stay there for eons and eons and eons.
Well, I agree with you completely on that. But when you asked me about changing the person's mindset to where they feel like they shouldn't be dependent on government, I shouldn't have to do much to convince them when government has already done enough to show them why. If anything, they're more so in denial and thinking that without government, that these issues don't exist anymore. Instead of taking into account that it's a possibility that they may not anymore. But like I said, man, I believe you and I could probably go back and forth on that issue all day, and I'm pretty sure there are.
Let me, if I may, what is your stance on governmental regulations?
There shouldn't be any government regulation at all. It should be left up to we the people. We should be creating our own regulatory agencies, which would have more impact on whatever it is we want to regulate. Let's say, for instance, weed. Right now, you have government regulating marijuana cannabis in the state of California, so much so that where it's putting businesses out of business because of the over-regulation. Deregulate as far as government is concerned, because our tax dollars are paying for them going into a grower's facility to make sure that they're up to code. Or
so what, in your estimation, what is the first step to so we're talking about cannabis and marijuana? What is the first step to really need? What is the foundational step that needs to happen in order for that to take place?
Government doesn't need to regulate. If I created my own regulatory agency to regulate and monitor cannabis growth, to make sure that the people that's buying it knows that it's a great quality, I can do that. You do have.
So you're okay. So then you're okay with drug cartels.
Drug cartels? Are we talking about legal drugs?
That's what drug cartels do in other countries. That's what drug cartels do.
And that's another thing. The Democratic Party continues to support the war on drugs. There is no war on drugs. It needs to stop. We need to stop telling people what they can and cannot put in their bodies. I'm a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass man. I want to tell you what you can and cannot do with your body and vice versa. If you do, we got a problem. And that's how it should work. Instead of thinking like you should have the authority to tell me what I can and can't do with myself or my family or my children. That's the problem. We put too much responsibility into thinking that government should be doing all of this for us instead of, again, doing things for ourselves. A nanny state, being dependent on the government to think for us. But I don't want to keep going back and forth with you about these issues because I'm pretty sure there's more that we can talk about. But one thing that I do like to do on my show as well is dispel any stereotypes. And there's many things about us as Americans that we have in common that we really don't take into accordance. And are some stereotypes that people still believe that I like to dispel on my platform. So one of the things that people do believe it or not, is black people don't swim. So I want to ask you here on the Black Side of Liberty,
sweat?
Don't swim, backstroke.
Oh, don't swim.
Yeah.
I thought you said sweat. Oh, okay.
No, swim. I got this speech impediment here. So do you know how to swim, Dr. Daren Miller?
I swim like a fish.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Since I was probably about 7 or 8 years old.
That's what's up. And see, people out there, Black people do swim. Believe it or not, you may have some Olympic swimmers or professional swimmers out there who are on a lot of shade of ground that get more visibility than those who don't. But we do exist, and go out there and find them. If you have the pools open here in Fresno or in California, you may see more Black people swimming, or the oceans even, since those are now closed.
Actually, as a kid, as a 10, 11-year-old, I was actually on a swim team.
Oh, damn.
At a community playground, Frank H. Ball Community Playground. I was on their swim team for probably 2 or 3 years during the summertime.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, then he could have been a professional swimmer himself.
No. I wouldn't be no professional. But that was just one of the things that in my community where I grew up, where I went to school, that was just one of the things that they did. They made sure that they provided all the Black kids and the Hispanic kids in our neighborhood the opportunity to learn how to swim. And Vince Santana, who's still around here, was my swim teacher.
Excellent. Wow. Yeah, I think we definitely need to be doing that, cultivating in our community and show them different skills.
And let me say this. That pool that I learned how to swim in was provided by the city of Fresno through the tax dollars that was taken in prior to Prop 13 being passed.
All right.
Prop 13 passed back in 78 or whatever, those summer swim programs, the pools around the area all went under. And now we have an opportunity to reverse that this year on the ballot with the reverse. I forget what proposition it is now. I think it's 15 or 16 to reverse that so that the 1%ers, the big businesses that have been taking advantage of those tax breaks, now have to pay their fair share. And so maybe some of those community programs that taught me how to swim, taught me how to be a public speaker, taught me how to be a leader, some of those governmental provided programs in my formative years can come back so that we can start to benefit from governmental support.
I think if you did this, when you're speaking, you say government, change that to community support. Change that to community.
No, it came from the government.
No. That's paid for by people of the community. That's who really funded those programs. That's who really made sure that they were in existence, was the people of the community. Government was simply an outfit to provide that opportunity as an avenue. Anybody could have came along. The YMCA could have came along.
YMCA is where the rich folks went when I was a kid.
Came along. Government regulation prevents Joe Schmo from being able to build the pool because they say you need to pay this license fee, you need to pay this permit, you need to meet.
I disagree.
We got like I said, man. We could go on.
I disagree. The reason why Joe Schmo won't build a pool is because Joe Schmo is trying to make money off of it.
Yeah,
it's more important for him to make a profit off of it than it is to provide a service to the community.
Just like the government, which is why they end up charging us 3 times or 6 times, 8 times the amount that it actually is. Just like paying.
Agreed. So then what we need to do is not get rid of government. We need to get rid of the people who are hiking up the rate to an unsustainable, an undesired rate. Bring it back down to where you pay your bills, cover your expenses, and you have some profit, a windfall for the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So instead of being 8, 9, 10 times what the government should take in, maybe it should only be 2 or 3 times what the government should take in.
Yeah, that's only going to happen if people get smarter about choosing representatives, especially those that go out and pretend like they have we the people's best interest at heart, and they really don't. So it's unfortunate that we get used in that sense, and our better desires for our people of the community are taken advantage of. But hopefully people will get smarter in voting, especially this election that's coming up in November 2020. But I don't want to hold you much longer because we actually...
Can I do my selfless plug?
Oh, please do, absolutely.
Vote Dr. Daren Miller, Fresno County Office, Fresno County Board of Education, Area 3. I look forward to getting your support. You can contact me currently on Facebook My email address is there at the bottom. Elect Daren Miller. My Facebook, my website hopefully will be launched. Trying to get it launched by next Monday. If not next Monday, it'll be the first Monday in August. But I'm looking forward to garnering everybody's support going forward.
All right, everybody, you heard it here. Daren Miller, Dr. Daren Miller, who is also running for re-election as Board of Education Trustee in November. Please check him out right here on Facebook, and be sure to contact the man. Keep in touch. Dr. Daren Miller, I appreciate you for being on the Black Side of Liberty and asking all my questions, because I know they out of left field and they are random. I don't tell any of my guests what I'm going to be asking them before we start talking. So I appreciate you for entertaining the conversation and just, keeping it 100 with me.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be on.
Oh, pleasure, man. Take care until next time.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from Dr. Daren Miller, who again is running for Board of Education Trustee out here in Fresno, California. So connect with him on Facebook at IBDam to continue to, stay up to date on what's going on with this campaign, especially if you're in Fresno. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I do want to talk a little bit more about this recall before I go, because it definitely is essential. If we want to rein in the powers of the state, like what we were talking about during our program, if we really want to make sure that we have a representative in office that's going to do what we want, what we the people want, then we need a governor of the people, by the people, and for the people in office. And that is none other than yours truly, Nicholas Wildstar, aka Governor Wildstar. Whoa, right here. So please be sure to check me out. But if you want to help me get elected sooner than later, recall Gavin2020.com. He is the current governor for California, and we want him out. So please check out the website, circulate that petition. Let's get those signatures in, submitted ASAP, get them into your elections office, and let's get Gavin Newsom out of office, okay? So visit the website, recallgavin2020.com. And like I plugged earlier, please, you guys, check out my CrowdPack page, because I am now accepting pledge donations. Whatever you want to give, anything you want to give, please definitely send it over to me, and it will go towards my 2022 gubernatorial campaign. But if we can get this recall, off the ground sooner than later, it'll be going towards my election for the special election campaign. So hopefully that'll be this year if we can get things going as soon as possible. So again, check that out. Let me see if I could share that. Here we go. Take Gavin Newsom and get him out of office. Say no to taxes and say no to tyranny. Crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar for the number 4 and then gov. Okay. So please definitely connect with me, you guys, and be sure to stay tuned to what I got going on here, because hopefully we can get some other guests in on the program that want to get Gavin Newsom out of office and are involved with that recall. I'm reaching out to them, and hopefully we can get them on the program to talk more about that. But if you're also in the city or state where you haven't had your primary yet, your election, please go out and vote Libertarian. Don't vote for Trump. Don't vote for Biden. Fuck both of them. Fuck the two-party system. Vote Libertarian, because that's the only way that we can truly achieve some true freedom and liberty and justice for all Americans. So vote Libertarian. She definitely could use her support, or your support, to get her onto the presidential debate stage. That's what we want, to get her on the presidential debate stage in November. So let's do that. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the program, which I hope you did, please definitely come back again this Thursday, where I will be speaking with Nikki Giver. I believe I'm saying that right. Nikki Giver. who is a blogger and founder of rediscoveringliberty.org. She will be here this Thursday. So come on back to the Black Side of Liberty and let's talk more then. All right. Till next time, you guys. Long live liberty. Peace.